going to explain about the migration. Okay, so there is one topic we have, nothing but PV migration. What is the PV migration means? For example, especially when we are going to the production environment, especially when we are going to the production environment, so we have a tie-up with a lot of the storage persons. For example, EMC, IBM, SAM, different persons. Just to take one example. The example is that this is your server. Your server will be having the one of the storage disk from the, let it be EMC. Like a SDA. SDA is one of the LUN you received from the EMC storage. Same time, there is one more storage, one more LUN you received from the, let it be from the IBM. This is SDB. So after some time, okay, your server will be having nothing but your company having the this renewal is not completed. Nothing but usually they are doing the renewal of your server and storage. So it is not happen from the your company. Nothing but they said that they don't want to renew the IBM due to the some of the reason. Okay, so the decision is taken. So after that, whatever the data is there from here, they want to share or they want to migrate to the new storage. For example, they want to create a one VMware disk. They want to copy the data from here to here. So copying in the sense this is not a normal data because this is a physical volume. PVMOVE, we need to move from the one disk to another disk. For example, this is the SDB. So the new disk is that SDC. So automatically whatever the data is there from your SDB, everything you need to copy to the SDB. So that is what the intention of the migration. So this migration is a very sensitive topic. Actually, most of the times the companies are doing this kind of the migration from the server, whether your hard disk, otherwise your storage disk having the issues, or to make the sustainability. So people are doing. So this is one of the L3 task. This task is performed by the L3 team only, not L2 team, because most of the companies this data handling of data is a very important, and moreover you are copying the data from the one PV to another PV on fly. We are not downloading or we are not shutting down your server. On fly you are migrating the data from the one server to other server. So that is one of the major beauty of the thing. So how can we perform this one? Because the thing is that it is a very easy task, and moreover it is a very complicated thing too, because you are moving the data from the one storage disk to another storage disk. For example, at the time of the copy, if something is happened, your entire production environment is going to be down. So that is the reason how successfully we can migrate from the one disk to other disk. So that is what the intention of the class. So we are using the command called PVMOVE. So PVMOVE is the one of the command we are using into the environment. The command will help you to move the PV from the one server to the other server. So this is one of the major concept into the production environment. Let me move on to the topic. Okay, let me prepare the thing. So first of all, whenever you are performing the PVMOVE or whenever you are performing the thing, first of all we are taking the two disk. So let me open the disk. You can see that here we have a two disk. One is the 10 GB of the disk, another is the 30 GB of the disk, and the request is that one disk to other disk you want to move the data. Okay, from the old disk to you want to copy the data to the new disk. For that one, first of all, what we are doing, we are creating the disk as usual. Okay, we are creating the PV, VAC, LV. First we are creating the one setup for. After one creating the setup, we will place the some data inside of that. Later on, we will move the data from the one server to the other server. Okay, so let me move on. First, let me move on and make sure that both of them are into the same volume group. So this is the one of the major thing we need to keep it. Why we need to keep it in both volume group? There is some connectivity we need to be there, right? Through two PVs are there. Okay, for example, what we are going to do it. So first we are taking the one disk. From one disk we are creating the one volume group and one LV and one mount point. So this is let it be a disk. So this is the your volume group. So this is your mount point. Now next thing is that I'm attaching the one more disk. Let it be B. I'm attaching the same disk to the same volume group. Nothing but VG extend. I'm extending the volume group. But I'm not creating the LVM. I'm not creating the anything. But automatically the entire the path whatever there here it will be become like this. It will become the path is that /SDA something to /SDB something. Means the path is changing this direction with this command. Let me move on to that practically so we can do it. So this is my server IPR 137. So let me go to the server. I'm attaching the two disk now. Okay, so go to the here hard disk. So let me take the two disk now. For example, one disk I'm taking 10 GB. So again one more disk I'm taking 15 GB. Two disk I taken. So I added the two disk. Okay, so go to the server ls_blk. So you can see that here SDA is reflected here. Okay, 10 GB and SDB is reflected here 15 GB. For example, some of the cases it won't be reflected. So in the time we are using the for loop command. So earlier cases also I use the for loop. Okay, so there is one for loop command will be there. That for loop command we need to make a use. The for loop command purpose is very clear. You want to refresh the file system. Just you are refreshing the. So now the disk is visible. So my requirement is that as per the diagram, I am taking the one disk. On top of that, I am creating the PV. On top of that, I am creating the VG. On top of that, I am creating the rest of the thing. So PVS, let me list out the PVS. PV create /dev/SDA. I am creating the one PV. Now list out the PVS. Now I am going to create a one more thing, nothing but VG. VG create VG-data /dev/SDA. So I created a one volume group successfully. Now the requirement is very simple. I need to create a one LV. LV create hyphen L. So let it be, this is a 10 GB. I am taking the 9 GB space hyphen L LV hyphen volt. I'm just making the LV hyphen volt. Okay, slash, and sorry, what is the VG name? VG hyphen data LVS. So I install the LVM onto the server successfully.
Oh, what is that LV minus L9G? What
Minus
is
L
that
is nothing
mean?
but listing. 9G is that capacity. For example, what is the capacity of the disk I added? 10 GB, right? I'm not
Yeah.
using the entire 10 GB. So right now I'm using the only 9 GB only. So 1 GB I will keep it. For example, in your phone pay, you have a 10,000. You are not spending entire amount. Right now you are spending the some 9,000. 1,000 will be with you like a kind of the buffer, right? So
Okay.
in production environment also we are not using entire thing, because if in future if you need any space means, instead of asking to the like a storage team, if you have the space means you can make a use of, right? For example, in the same way, for example, you have 10,000, 9,000 used, the 1,000 you placed as a buffer. Instead of, if for example, if you don't have the single rupee also, maybe you need to ask to your friend or someone for the whenever you need a requirement. At least for the buffer space, you are creating the temporarily for the dynamic uses. कोई भी expenses you received from that expenses to avoid immediate borrowing. So we use the some buffer space.
So if you want to add that remaining 1 GB in
You
the
can
same
see,
volume group, we can add it.
yeah, you can see that VGS 1 GB is there, right? Total 10 GB.
Yes.
Okay, you can see that PVS, there is a total 10 GB. 1 GB is available. You can see that 1 GB VG free 1 GB is available. Means in your phone pay you have still 1 GB is there. If you wanna means you
Okay.
can go with the LV extend command. That is what the last classes we done. LV extend command, right? LV extend
Yeah.
10 like a 1G. If you give it a 1G means automatically you can extend, because there is a some of the cases you need to expand at least some 20 MB also. Okay, 30 MB also or 1 GB also you need to extend. In that time you don't have the space means it will going to be problematic, right? Again you need to go for approval,
Yes.
you need to go for the request to the storage term. This will take a time, right? Immediately, because this is
Yeah.
with the money and approvals. So that is the reason what
Yeah.
people are doing. Always they are keeping safe amount into the volume group, like how we are doing. Like a monthly your salary is 20,000 means maximum you are spending some 10,000 or 15,000. Rest of the 5,000 you are keeping your buffer for the entire 1 month, right? So this is also
Yes.
a way of execution. Okay. So now we have added the thing, nothing but we have a logical volume. So once we created the logical volume, so everything it is there in a disk. These steps are there, bro. Everything we have steps. Scanning, PV create, PG create, LV create, and MKFS. So MKFS is again what we are doing, creation of the file system. LV display I'm doing. So this is the what exactly we created. Slash dev slash VG data old LV old MKFS dot XFS. I created the file system. Once I created the file system, immediately I'm mounting the slash app. So app is not there. So if you can see that here now, this particular file system is coming from where? LSBLK. You are seeing my screen, right? From SDA,
Yes.
you created the volume group, you created the LV, and it is mapped to the SDA, right?
Yes.
SDB is not having anything. SDB is
Yes.
something like a buffer amount, like your credit card type.
Yeah.
You are not using your
You
credit
have to
card,
create PV, everything on that as well.
SDA only. For example, just think of that now the coming to the our topic. Now let it be this SDA is coming from the EMC storage. Okay, so that SDA is
Okay.
coming from the EMC storage. So due to the some of the reason, the company taken the decision this SDA particular whatever may be the capacity whatever the data that did not renewed, means they did not renew the contract. So obviously what the company will do, okay, you not renewed, right? We are not supporting. That's the same thing, right? If you're not paying the amount,
Yeah.
means none of the company will support you. So,
Yes.
well, the particular EMC company not immediately shut down, right? What they will do, they will
Yes.
give the 1 or 2 months of the time to copy the data from our storage boxes, right? So whatever the storage boxes
Yes.
are there, from there you can copy data. If something is missing, means we are not the responsible. That is what they conveyed. Okay, they clearly conveyed we are not responsible for the anything. Something data is missing. Okay. So obviously the company people they will come up with a picture with us with a storage team. Now, first of all, I need to move the entire PV from here to here. You got a point, right? I need to move the entire
Yeah.
PV from here to here. This is the first task. And what is the second task? So you can see that here earlier we created to create this entire process. We created one volume group, one LV like that. So that also if you need means we need to decommission. Okay. For example, if you want to moving is a one task. Okay. If the move successfully done, that is a one way of execution. For example, now company is decided that I don't want this data. I have already some backup data is there. Okay, release this data, release the particular LUN from the storage level, server level. Means decommission. Have you anytime heard about decommission of servers, decommission of storage area?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
decommission in the sense, if you can come across, first of all, what I done, I received the disk. On top of that, I created a PV. On top of that, I created a VG. On top of that, I created a LV. On top of that, I'm creating the like a mounting. So we will need to go in
Yeah.
reverse order. Means file system creation is not needed. First, instead of mounting, I need to go with the unmount. Then LV data, nothing but for example, we created LV, right? LV create.
Yeah.
So we
And
need
we
to go
create.
for the LV reduce, LV remove.
Okay.
Once LV remove means obviously VG before that created. We need to go for the VG remove. So VG created, but instead of VG create, you need to go for the VG remove. Then you need to go for the PV remove. Then only the disk will be listed like a plain disk. Means nothing should be there on top of that. No PV is created on top of that. You understand, right? So this is the
Yeah.
we are calling as a decommission. So let me go to the first layer of execution. So before we are proceeding, let me create the data into the server. Means the mount point. Okay, because if you have a data, then only we can understand, right? Migration I can do it, but if something is data missing is happening or not, I need to know, right? So what I'm going to create, I'm going to create some data. So I created the some data into the server, especially the particular mount point. Okay, so now the requirement is that, so we got a confirmation. I need to move the file system, the entire architecture from SDA to SDB. That is what the requirement. So before you proceeding this one, first of all, let me go to that document. So first of all, you got a new disk, right? First you are creating the PV. whatever the disk you received, you are creating the PV. Why means there is some common point will be there, right? This disk and this disk. What is that common point? Volume group. You got my point, right? Volume group is the common
Yeah.
between the two physical volumes. You can see that here SDA is a part of VG-data. Now I need to make sure of I need to create a VG data. SDB also I need to be part of VG. You can see that here only have one PV only. Let me create PV create /dev/ SDB. I created a PV. Now SDA is a part of VG data, but SDB is nothing is listing because this is not a part of your VG data. So I need to go for VG extend. You are going for the VG extend and VG hyphen data. What is a VG name and which one you want to extend /dev/ SDB new disk, right? VGS. Now you can see that here VGS it is showing number of PVs are 2, but what are the PVs if you trigger the VG data? SDA also this one, SDB also this one. You understand now, bro? Both disks are now attached to the volume group. So that is the same thing, right? SDA is the one, SDB is the one. So first I need to make a common input point. This is the your volume group. I created a PV and after that I extended my VG. But after that I am not creating LV in anything. This is the last step, right? So once this is done, now LSBLK, again I am checking LSBLK, nothing is changed. Coming to the PV, just I created the PV, SDA is already there, architecture, DB is 15 GB, entire 15 GB is free only, okay, nothing is used. LVS also if you can check it out, it is created on only. So now I need to go with the PVMOVE command. So you can see that VG extend we done, we are going to the PVMOVE. PVMOVE, which PV I need to move? /dev/SDA. SDA space /dev/SDB. SDA to SDB you want to migrate. So it is migration. You can see that here.
Yeah.
So if migration happen means how I can validate that LSBLK should be this mapping should be listing to the SDB, right? This is the first layer thing. Second thing is that whatever the data into the /app, it should not be missed, right? It should be existing. So now it is showing that it is completed. So let me with the LSBLK. See here it is listing with the SDA, right? And SDB nothing is having. Coming to here, SDA is nothing having here. SDB will be having the data. Means SDB will be redirected. Okay, means our first level of validation is completed. Nothing but your hierarchy is moved successfully without downtime. Have you shut down the server? Have you rebooted the server? Okay, non-dynamically we can move the PV from the one server to the other server. And now let me go to the particular directory. Data is there, right? Data is not missed out. Entire data is there. Single point also not missed out. So that is the data we created. You can see that T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. Okay, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5.
In case some of the data missed out, then
So usually in production environment, we are not bothering about only OSN. This is a end of the day application data, right? Okay.
Yes.
So for example, there is two types of the things I am going to take it. For example, let me go to the server. Before we are taking the snapshot. Okay.
Yeah.
So the snapshot why we are taking is, for example, right now what is the my server is there. Automatically, the snapshot you can see that the snapshot I taken
Mm.
right now means if something is happened, I can revert to the original state. Okay, so that is
Okay.
the thing. And the secondary thing is that right now, since mine is a test data, it is showing very less. This is a infrastructure side. I'm taking the snapshot, and application side, people will going to take the like have you heard about the net backup or some backup tools will be there. So what the application team will be doing means they are going to take the incremental backup from the application level every day. So they are going to take the
Okay.
backup. Okay. For example, let it be, as I said, some data is missing. Or I can able to see the data, but data is not able to access. Some issue is happened. So right now I moved the data means right now I moved the disk successfully. That part is completed. But the data wise I need to restore. The client said whatever the data is there, it is not accurate. Some points are missing. Some points are missing. We need to restore the data. So restoration is happening from the particular backup team. They will copy the data to the server. Otherwise, server side if the less data means we are taking the tar ball. Tar it will be happening only if you have a less amount of the data. But most of the times this data will be into the terabytes. A terabyte of the space in server you need to have right again. So that is the reason what we are doing. Safer side we are taking the snapshot and we are taking the network, nothing but backup level. One backup also people are taking. This is what the people are doing into the production environment. Any doubt, bro?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is the concept of PVMOVE. The concept of the PVMOVE is right. We are dynamically we can move the data without any downtime. And
Yeah.
moreover, we are not bothering about the things. See, you can see the data is successfully moved, and you are not seeing any kind of, you are not writing any big heavy codes and all. Okay, so this is a way of execution. Let me go to the next level of the concept. For example, now the client decided that I don't want this server. I don't want this disk at all. Let it be SDA. When you trigger the PVS, SDA is a part of VGS data, right? Still it is a have a tie-up. So the client said that please hand over this disk to storage team. Usually what the people will do, they are going to plug off the device. They are going to plug off the device. If they plug off the device automatically, your operating system always bothers some disk is missing. So if something is happen, your server is rebooted means your operating system will be into the emergency mode because of it is searching for the disk. So the process is that okay, if you want to remove vg remove, okay, like a vg hyphen data, sorry, here pv, right, pv remove. So what is the name, this SDA. So here we need to do it forcefully. So here forcefully we need to do it. Let me go it in this order. If removed, no. let me go easy remove easy have. So here you can see that I'm using the vg reduce command. So the vg reduce command, what exactly will do? From this vg, I'm not removing the data, I'm removing the volume group. Means this PV I'm removing. Let me go to the PVS. Still PV there, right? Here we have a PV. Okay. PV remove /dev /SDA. So now you can see that what is the difference here? It is listing. When you trigger the PVS command, it is not listing. So now this disk is successfully decommissioned to hand over to the your storage team. Means it is not having the any connectivity with the server. Means your server will be now clearly removed from the disk, nothing but it is attached, but your storage team able to pick up the disk successfully. There is no connectivity we established. This is a one way of thing. Let me go with a full-fledged how you can do it. Let it be this disk I want to remove it. Instead of mount, go with a reverse order unmount. Okay, then after that you are going to be LV, then VZ, then PV. So LV remove. What is a LV name? You can go with, you can see that here. PV remove. Sorry, LV remove and a LV name. For example, this is the your LV. Yes, you want to remove it. LV, yes. You remove the LV. Earlier you received the data, but now you did not receive. Now we need to remove the volume group. So volume group, again you need to go with the same command like a vg remove. vg remove vg remove and the volume group name, and whatever the disk you want to remove it. Okay, for example, you remove the data vgs and pvs. So you want to remove the pv remove /dev /sdb pvs. Now it is not listing anything, right? So this is the way how you successfully decommission your file system. Understand, bro? At the time of creating,
Yeah.
we attach the SDA, volume group, LVM, and mounted. So removing also, I need to come to the same reverse order, right? Reverse order,
Yeah.
I need to remove. Then only the storage team able to can pick up the your disk successfully. So this is the interview question people will ask you into the interviews also. Creation everyone will do, but decommission also you need to know, right? So decommission also
Yeah.
will ask you the same type of question. Okay, this is a very important topic, bro. But practice once and twice. Make sure
Yeah.
first disk.
I'm practicing, but I'm like behind. I'm not catching. I haven't catch up with it. I'm like three classes behind still. Like you are pro. You can do it in half an hour. For me, it is taking like
Yeah.
every
So,
come I'm typing it wrong.
see, every time I'm doing it will be easy for me. That is the reason I'm saying that. Okay, so, but at least, uh, keep in regular touch with the subject. Okay,
Yeah.
these are the scenarios very important. Every scenario in LVM, they will come up with, specific questions. Why can't you do this? Compulsory, they will ask the number of questions. So that is the reason you make sure you practice the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
just a practice, bro. By this we can complete the LVM. So then we can go into connect with the user management. Okay, user
Yeah, yeah.
management, and we have a patching. So all our topics are very important, but make sure you practice LVM, entire LVM once again, bro. Okay, especially
Yeah, yeah.
it's a very important topic. Okay,
Yes.
okay, bro. Practice,
Okay, thank
and tomorrow also we can connect at 8 o'clock. Okay, or 7.
Oh,
Okay, in the evening.
okay.
Okay, I will share you the video.